Welcome to ISKmaking for the Free Folk, Season 1, Episode 7. In this episode, I will talk about safety issues and how to survive in Lowsec. PvP in general during this activity is undesired because if people come to your missions, work at your missions, disturb you, maybe try to catch you in gates and so on and so forth, you will lose time. If you lose time, you will lose ISK. Therefore, this is the time that's allocated to earning some ISK. So in general, you don't want to deal with people in these mission sessions. Thus, I prefer doing these missions after or before downtime. And in my experience, if you do these missions in near downtime, you reduce your chances of getting disturbed significantly. Also, as expected, weekends are more crowded in the low-sec areas. Faction warfare space in general is a vibrant area with lots of PvP-seeking people in opposing faction, or they're just neutrals, and they will seek to kill you. So you need some kind of survivability skill in order to reduce your chances of getting tackled and getting killed. But if you do everything right, it's really not likely for people to kill you. And as I said, I just lost one Proteus while farming the entire 100 bill. If you do these missions near downtime, remember during the downtime missions spawns or mission beacons, these mission beacons reset. So you are going to need to work to them and spawn them and bookmark them again. So make sure if you begin missions before downtime, make sure you finish the missions. Alternatively, what you can do is you can do the taking missions part before downtime, but you shouldn't spawn them before downtime and do them after downtime because you won't be able to do them. They will despawn and you will lose time. And let's talk about gate cams a little bit. Lowsec gate cams, of course, there are no bubbles, so it's easy to go through them with cloaky Proteuses. Um, Before Tech 3 changes, we had to use cloak MWD trick with the normal Proteuses, which was harder. For example, interceptors could decloak us and target us and so on and so forth. Now we don't have such a problem, so it's very easy to navigate through. But of course, these griffins are not covered cloaky, so you're going to need to master the cloak and the blue trick in order to survive in these griffins. If there are some insta-lock gate camps and something like that, and in these low-sec areas, gate camps are very likely because these are crowded areas usually. And then the other issue is disturbers, or what I call these people who want to try and tackle you inside missions, and they are particularly targeting mission runners. So they have a few tricks in their sleeves. For example, first of all, they could use um, recon chips. The non-cloaky recon chips actually don't show up on D-scan, so they can come, for example, Lochisis can come to your mission and you won't see them in this scan. That is exactly why we have these griffins, right? So the griffins are actually cloaked, waiting on the other side of the gate, on the incoming, on the low-sec side of the gate. So um, the griffins never warp inside the mission with your Proteus. They are waiting outside and holding the gate, and if someone warps in, one of the first things you will hear is the warping sound. So once you hear a warping sound, that should warn you, and you should check your screens in case someone is coming in. Sometimes you won't hear a warping sound, especially if the ship is a cloaky ship. For example, a Stratios can be cloaky, so the Stratios can land on the gate and decloak and begin to warp, but you will not hear it warp. And sometimes missing the sound can be deadly, so you need to make sure that you're
To
also
give the command to a
watching
drone
the
requires you to have an
monitor.
active target.
And then another thing they can do is they can camp the acceleration gates. What I usually do is I work at I work at 0, or I work at 5 kilometers to accept these acceleration gates. I actually never worked at 0 to my bookmarks, because if you warp at 0, there's a chance that you will just crash in the gate. You will keep bumping to the gate, and then it will keep you from warping for a long time. And in that time, you might become a
Warp
target
drive
to
active.
someone warping to your mission. So what I do is I
To
warp to
give
the
the command
mission
to
at
a
five
drone
kilometers.
requires you to have an
I clock
active
my ship,
target.
I land, and the gate declocks me, and I take the gate instantly. If there's a clocky ship in there, there is some 5 seconds period in which they need to declock and target you, and so your ally time is 4 seconds, and you won't be declocked when you're warping. So it's gonna take. So they usually won't have the response time to target and
Warp
tackle
drive
you
active.
before you
Warp
actually
drive
take the
active.
gate and go inside. So once you're inside the mission, if you know someone is coming behind you, you can warp away because your warp speed is usually more than them, which is 11 AU, and your align time is not so bad at all. So if it's not a scepter or something, you will be able to ditch them actually. So you warp to a random spot and clock up. This is a covered clocky ship, so you won't have too many problems. One of the good ways to catch mission runners is camping their acceleration gates with stealth bombers, because stealth bombers
Warp
have zero
drive
targeting
active.
delay after declocking. But that has never happened to me, because partly because I think it takes a long time for someone to wait at the acceleration gate, and then the mission owner, will he come, will he not come, the wait can be forever. So usually people deem that it's not worth it to wait people at the acceleration gates. And in case you get tackled, you can try aligning out and then jamming the tackler ship with your griffin, and you can suicide your griffin but get out with your Proteus if you successfully land the jam. But that's only a last resort. And usually, and I'm going to talk about how to do missions, and this will be clearer in the future in the next video. But usually, you'll be orbiting mission targets at MWD speed, and you will be really far away. If you spend like 2 or 3 minutes inside the mission, you will be really far away from the beacon that people have to land once they use your acceleration gate. This beacon over here. So you'll be really far away from this beacon, and if in case someone lands, or in case someone tries to get into your mission, you will even have time to get your drones back and align out, and then work out after you have drones. But don't risk it if it's like an interceptor or a chasis with like a um, with a bonus to point range, because these ships can get near you really fast, really quickly. Also, if you keep doing these missions in the same area, you will sooner or later you will have an idea of who is who. So you can actually give red standings to those who hunt faction warfare mission runners, and you can realize if there is a roaming fleet around, and you can realize if there is a hostile group around, or you can realize if people around you are just docile people, they're not gonna attack you. One thing is, um, I have the D-scan of these Proteus at 14 AU, and I have the D-scan of these Griffins at 1 AU. So the Griffins check short D-scan, and the Proteuses check long D-scan. And then I often use my D-scan button to check what ships are around, especially if there are people in local. That comes in handy, and in case there are suspicious ships, you can be ready to warp off at a moment's notice. So this is it for the safety part. If you do everything right, the chances of you losing your ship is really, really low. As I said, I just lost one ship for 100 billion. But even if you lose one of these blingy pretties, it's just 1 hour of your time. If it's even less than 1 hour of your time, so it's not a big deal. Faction warfare missions in that manner are really they are kind of a low risk endeavor. Thanks for watching, and click to the card if you want to go to the next video.